Another episode coming at you, everybody. This episode, I'm changing up my coilovers. I'm doing it for a couple reasons. That autocross, too much body roll, so I'm going to go with an adjustable. I got the Coney single adjustables. To adjust those things is a major pain in the butt. You got to pull the things off the car, pull the spring off, pull this little plastic cap off, push the button down, rotate the shock, put it all back together again. Big pain in the ass. I'd originally ordered the double adjustable Coneys, which are easier, but you still have to get in there with this weird wrench to turn the rebound. So I bought a set of these. These came from Levy Racing. They're QA1s with iBox springs. I actually checked the factory 5 springs. Spring rates are all over the place. These things are within 2 pounds, about 2.5 pounds of each other. So much more reliable spring. So that's why I'm going to go with eBox springs. Double adjustable, both compression and rebound. So this way I can have it one setting on the street, and then I can readjust this for when I get the autocross or the track. I got a Gordon at Levy Racing, kind of gave me a general idea where they should be set. I think it was 4 and 6 or 3 and 6. I got it written down somewhere. So we're gonna throw these things on the car. I'm probably gonna invert the fronts because that way I can reach, pop the hood and adjust these without even getting underneath the car. The rear I'm gonna slide under and figure out which orientation I want that's gonna make it most advantageous, because I want to easily be able to slide under, click the knobs, done. Hopefully adjust all 4 shocks in about 2 minutes. So yeah, kind of nice. So follow along and hit subscribe, and we'll see how this thing goes. Thanks. So now we got the coilovers side by side. Coneys here, QA1s here. You can see pretty similar. This one might be a touch shorter, but you got these knobs. As I said, to get this thing apart, you got to take this whole assembly apart now. To take this little black cap off here, push this button down, and then rotate this rod. So you can't do it in the car. This, I'll be able to reach up underneath and I actually tried this out without the springs on, and oh my gosh, when it's fully loose, you can push that piston up no problem. Give it a couple of clicks, you can't budge it anymore. So you can tell it's definitely going to have some effect. The one big issue is here, you can see how narrow that is. This is wider. So I'm going to have to probably machine down these spacers that came with the kit that go onto here and make them go onto here. So yeah, this is going to be the one job that's going to make this whole thing just a little bit tougher. But in the end, it'll be worth it. So the spacers, my spacer issues, I got to cut this one in half. Well, cutting this in half could be a pain in the butt. So what I realized, I got 2 washers here. So I can stack these washers on the outside. They're the same ID as the shaft. It still will rotate without hitting anything. We're going to drive the screw through. Hopefully you can see all this. So it doesn't hit anything. Not that the shock's ever going to rotate like that. But that solves my spacer problem on the bottom. Now we got to figure it out on the top. So, but this at least gets the bottom issue solved. That is actually perfect. It should slide right on in. Before I put the shock in too, I'm going to cycle a suspension, make sure it still feels nice and smooth. So, okay, so bottom solved. As I said, the knobs are going to go at the top. So now let's figure out what we need to do for the top. Okay, so the fronts are all in after we made spacers. So the rear, you've got these little short spacers up front. I'm probably going to have to use a washer or two to make up the difference between here and there, and then figure out what I need to do for the back side. This actually might work out okay on the back. We'll see. So we'll play around with some fittings. I'm going to show you how the shocks are going to get oriented. A little bit different in the rear. I'm actually going to have the body down. These things are going to be pointing inward. That way I can reach around and just do my adjustments. So that's where I'm thinking right now. So we'll play around with this. I'll show you once I get it up into the car. So I finished the coilovers. As you can see, they're done. As I said, the knobs on the rears are back here. I had to make some spacers here. I stacked a couple with a couple of washers. I'm gonna have some spacers probably made with the right dimensions on these things, or try to order them. That way I've got 1 spacer here instead of 2 and a stacked washer. Not that it'll matter, these things are torqued pretty good. But you can see they look pretty good. Nice, they match the brake calipers. So what I'm going to do is, I hate to say this, but I'm going to pull this whole assembly back apart. I've still got that clunky noise. Don't know where it's coming from, but after talking with Gordon at Levy Racing, he thinks I got to check this here to see if I got any witness marks from this bolt onto the caliper or the hub bearing. One of the two. So I'm going to pull this thing apart, pull the brakes off, pull the rotor off, and see if I can figure out what's going on, because it's just getting progressively a little worse. So I'm going to pull that whole rear suspension apart, see if I can figure out where this noise is coming from. But thanks again for watching the new coilovers and springs, and we'll bring the next episode as we get this thing apart and see if I can figure out where that noise is coming from. Because I said I replaced that rod end, didn't help, so we're going to see what else we can find. Because it's driving me nuts. Other than that, the car's dead quiet. So thanks again for watching. Hit subscribe, and if I find out what that noise is, I'll bring that episode to you. So and show you what's going on. So thanks again for watching.